Go on with it, but go on with it. Blessings all for my life, man. My thank God for the journey, the earnings, and just for the plus. Gratitude is a must. See blessings fall by my right hand.
Hello, dearest viewer. What is your favorite mistake, TheSirenSayz? Welcome back to my channel, where I speak about movie, TV, and soon to come books, and everything good, bad, ugly, and everything all throughout and in between those frames of media. Today we are going to be getting into the first part of season 3, Bridgerton. I figured it would be customary for me to address you in this way. Now, I did want to get into some light housekeeping. Any comparisons to season 1 and 2? Just expect it. Any slide disses or jabs are also to be expected. Also, do expect some enjoyment. Just sit back, relax, and have fun. If it is that you start to hear the brewings of me either liking or disliking a character that you feel the opposite towards and you feel you just can't handle it, you may leave. No worse for it, no shame shall come upon your household. Just to get into it before we start, now sit back and enjoy this nice cozy video. Alright. Hi guys. So I am very excited to get into this right now. I have a list of the characters pulled up and everything. And I'm just excited to just get into this as swiftly as I possibly can. I'm going to go with as much as I can remember and slightly over my character, only because I feel like there's some things that I'm just going to go by the scenes, while there are other things that I'm going to go by the character. So, I guess to put up a non-spoiler review, I enjoyed this season more than the last two. And maybe you could stand to say the reason I enjoyed this season more than season 1 and season 2 is because of season 2 and coming to grips with what I wanted to see and didn't want to see, and maybe even what I liked in those previous seasons that there is slightly more of here. So this is not to say that season 1 and season 2 are unwatchable and the worst things I've ever seen. Like, no, it's romance. It's a period piece. So there's a little bit of something for everybody in every season, but this season I'm Bridgerton in particular is way more my speed, way more my style. There are things about it that I did not necessarily like, but I actually brought up that I knew it was going to be like that when I saw the ad, which means it was a good ad. I didn't expect everything I saw, but I expected enough to know whether or not I would have even watched this season, and that's what an ad is supposed to do. It's supposed to get you intrigued while also letting you know whether or not this thing is for you anyway, period, okay? So, let's just get into Eloise right away. No. Yes, Eloise, and then I'll go into Anthony.
Miss Eloise Bridgerton has never been one to shy away from the beat of her own drum. This author admires her courage to be fiercely different. The question remains, will the rest of the ton feel the same?
What little courage it takes to spout opinions from quill to page. Perhaps I have simply realized there is much to discover for those who finally reveal themselves to society.
I like Eloise this season, which is shocking. I didn't think I was going to. For reasons I explained, I actually gave you guys 3 Bridgerton videos before this one. Please go watch them. They kind of just like wrap up my thoughts on some of the main characters in the last 2 seasons, just so you can get a light, very light overview on what I thought about the last 2 seasons. And I say light because obviously it's not everything I thought. It's not all good or all bad. But, just some of the more important things that either got looked over or were the main topic I spoke about. I am not an Eloise fan. I'm not. But if Eloise was more like this in the first and second season, I would finally see that hype that people were talking about. I like how here she was able to be herself, but not in a way that was annoying and overbearing. Before y'all say the only reason she's like this now is because of everything she went through in the last 2 seasons, you're correct about that, which is why I am giving her her flowers for her growth and her development. Did she do some really stupid things this season? Absolutely, and I'm about to call them out. But I did want to say that I really do appreciate how she was portrayed this season. It made it less annoying when I saw her on the screen. Because I'll admit, right, the first episode I was like, all right, okay, fine. She's a Cressida. Okay, fine. They're trying to give Cressida depth. Something I don't know if I exactly said it in the season 3 trailer review, but I felt like one of the things that they could have been doing with the friendship between Eloise and Cressida is give Cressida more depth. And I was correct about that. So really nice to see. But let me get into what I thought. I enjoyed that she was still different. Even though there were definitely some points where she seemed to be commingling, it was still on her terms. Once she saw that they were getting too much into the marriage thing, she dipped out, which is still a little annoying to hear because I'm still not completely sure about what she really wants from her life. And if it is that she is serious about what she really wants, why doesn't she take a mentor to help her get there? I have never really seen her under Lady Danbury the way that she possibly could be. I know that from season 2, Lady Danbury's response might be similar to what she said to Kate, which is the only reason I'm able to live like this right now is because I did what I was supposed to do when I was young, and now I'm free. So even if she were to give Eloise that advice, I'm not saying we want Eloise to sit here and suffer in a marriage. Cute note. I know Eloise is going to get her own season, her own book. She's about to find love, I know. But we're talking as if we don't know the future, okay? I'm not saying I want Eloise to sit there and be kind of like Francesco was for the first 2 episodes, just like finding a husband to get it over with. I'm not saying that. But she needs to be a little bit more realistic. I think it's interesting that she sees herself as more realistic than the other girls who are just like, oh, they're all flighty bobbleheads who believe in a fantasy. And it's like, not really. They're just more hungry and fastidious into getting into the life that they are told would be best for them than you are. You are more in a fantasy that is more of a future, right? That lifestyle that you want is more prevalent now than it was back then. But your lifestyle that you say you want is way more of a fanciful fairy tale. So even though I do appreciate that she understands that she's different, I think she needs to frame it a little differently in her head so that she can see people, see herself, and not feel less than. I wouldn't want her to feel less than because of this, but I also don't want her to judge people either. So yeah. Her friendship with Cressida Cowper, I still don't get it. I know she said that while she was alone, mourning the loss of Penelope, Cressida was there for her. Like I kept saying to y'all in the video, she thinks that she's smarter than she is. She does. Okay, she's not as smart as she thinks that she is. But I will say this about her, she is noble. She is a good person. I'm not going to say that she is not a good person. She definitely is a good person. But my personal opinion about her is that she doesn't think things through all the way. And trouble ensues because of all of those oversights. Like when she found out what was really going on at the time between Colin and Penelope, and her immediate thought was to gossip to Cressida about it. I know Cressida didn't say anything. But girl, you was talking so loud in front of so many people in front of Cressida. Why? What made you think I need to tell Cressida? Is it like for all of your machinations about not needing a man and being alone and having real conversations, why is it that you need friendship so bad? You couldn't keep this one thing to yourself. You speak about how much, you're so sick and tired of gossip and there must be more to life. But you are aware to some degree that one of the reasons that your friendship with Cressida lasts is because you gossip a little bit. It's just a little bit of hypocrisy that has always been in her, but it's fine. I don't dislike her this season. I like her this season more than I have any other season, to be fair with you. To be very fair with you, okay?
Miss Cressida Cowper and society have one thing in common. For better or worse, they do not seek to forge affections, which is why this author is surprised to see Miss Cowper take up very unexpected company this season. Perhaps her aversion to attachment has been replaced with a more congenial side in her third season out.
Or perhaps not.
Cressida was interesting this season. I kind of like the direction that her character is going in, because she's paid her dues for the things that she's done. She has, what's the word for it? She was mean, she got her comeback, and she changed. One thing I cannot stand about characters in TV shows is when they're terrible people, right? They're not villains, right? They're more bully characters, right? They're absolutely terrible. They don't change at all. They're just like slightly nicer than usual. And then we as the audience are supposed to build them up in high regard with the other good people just because something really bad happened to them. So for example, let's say we didn't see any of Cressida's death at all. It was just that this is her fourth time out, right? This is her fourth time out. And she is starting to be looked upon with pity. That's like one of the worst things that can happen back in those days. Like, just because of that, we're supposed to feel sorry for her, right? No, the writer said, nah, let me show you guys what's going on in her household. How tough her mother is being on her, how domineering her father is. Let's show you guys all of that so that you can see why she was so cutthroat in season 1 and 2. Why she was so flinching and unnerving and just frank, bitter, jealous, competitive. Let me show you why in a few scenes, in a few moments. Great writing. I loved that. It made me necessarily appreciate her character, but not look at her with disdain, because now I get it. I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see why you were doing this. I understand. I may not really want to be friends with you because you need a little bit of healing before I can trust you, which is why I'm so confused as to why Eloise thought she could just trust Cressida, but it's fine. They're young. We'll let it go. But yes, I really enjoyed that writing. Differences and changes between Eloise and Cressida were actually very enjoyable, and I liked that I was able to enjoy it. Excellent. Beautiful. Let's move on.
The scandalous match between Anthony, Viscount Bridgerton, and Kate, Viscountess Bridgerton, was the shock and delight of last season. This author enjoyed more than her fill of this delectable romance. Will I find another fabled love story this social season to compete? Or is their love the dessert that spoiled my appetite?
I believe Whistledown has finally printed something worth reading. Should you agree, Viscountess?
Agree. With you? Now that will take some convincing.
Anthony and Kate Dormer. I really, like I said before, I knew that I would appreciate their relationship much more now that they're married, and I did. I want to give a slight apology for my Anthony video. And I say slight because I said what I said. But it has been a while since I watched season 2, so I forgot some of the context. Like I spoke before, like they gave us context for Cressida. They also did give us context for Anthony and why he did what he did to Sienna. And I forgot some of that context. So even though I said what I said, really the way I felt about him was more about season 1 than season 2. Anthony is definitely more likable in season 2. More likable. Not my favorite at all, but more likable. I agree with that. 1000%. So, Kate, beautiful, gorgeous, stunning. I hate that Edwina was just like a passing sentence. Like, still, y'all did her dirty last season. I'm not playing with y'all. Just for Edwina, oh, she got a love match back in India or wherever she is. Stop. She have got some royalty. Whatever. Maybe it is a royal person, but we all know Edwina was that girl and she did not deserve what happened, and justice for Edwina. Period, point blank. Now, let's to dive quickly into the other Bridgertons.
Many have suggested that Mr. Benedict Bridgerton might desire to join the Mart this season. This author suspects what this second son truly seeks is a sense of purpose. I do encourage you to say yes to society for once, Mr. Bridgerton. You never know where it may lead you.
Directly into the arms of some anxious debutante, I should gather. Or worse, her ambitious mama.
Benedict is just fooling around with women, so I think when his book comes up, it will be very intriguing because you're more of a rake than anybody else around here. You passing on women like brushstrokes. One brushstroke, one woman. Just making a giant painting filled to the brim with different colors of women. Do what you gotta do, Benedict. Next,
She's requested time.
We do not have time. Stand back.
No offense, sister, but I believe you are the last person she would like to see.
while watching this, I was starting to get a little bit of fatigue for one small aspect, which is the I'm not like other girls thing. It's kind of annoying, not because it doesn't happen or because it's not true, not because people don't feel fatigued with the norms of society, but because it's nice to see somebody who is in a box and enjoys that box, right? It would be nice to see somebody become the diamond of the season who doesn't mind that. Kind of like Daphne, right? Even though season 1 is never my favorite, one of the things I did enjoy about Daphne was that she wanted all of that. And mind you, me enjoying something about a character doesn't have to have anything to do with me. Guys, we're deeper than that, okay? We are not a monolith. We are deeper than that. We can like people for what they have, even if we wouldn't want what they have, right? I like that Daphne wants to be a mother, wants to marry a man of noble standing, wants to have love like her mother had love, wants to have the babies, wants to take care of people, wants to be a good ruler over the townspeople. I appreciated that whatever role she had to be in, she wanted that, right? When she married Simon and she thought that he couldn't have children, she still loved him. And she was willing to make whatever concessions necessary to make that happen. Characters like that are very likable, right? We definitely love the edgy girl who does not care about would rather do this and would rather do that. We know them, we love them, and we've all been that girl. We've all been in a situation where we're like, I'm not even feeling this. I'm tired. I want to leave. We've all been that person at one point or another, but it is nice to see somebody who is genuinely happy to be there and will make the most of whatever situation that they are now currently in. I appreciate that and I like that. And so Francesca exemplified that, but I'm saying I appreciate that in a character, and for the next following season, I would like to see that more. I love Penelope, but she did kind of have her moments of being like, oh, I want to get out of here. However, I will note that she only said that because she was the ridicule at the time, but she was being ignored. So we know Penelope does like society. She does. That's why she writes the things that she writes. It's one of the reasons why I like her. She likes society, but not too much. She's still her own person. There are two sides to every story. Sometimes people who fit into boxes become robots and they become unfeeling. And that is where the genesis of the Not Like Other Girls came from. You wanted somebody to fight the robots. But, as with all tropes, you take it too far on one side, people get tired of it. So, we're back to the middle here with Penelope. Just to continue forward, there was a side story with the boxer and his family.
From the boxing ring to their busy club, Mr. and Mrs. Mondridge have never been afraid to bend the rules to ensure a triumph. But by successfully drawing the attention of the ton, this author wonders how they'll respond to heightened expectations.
Perhaps we shall take to making our own rules.
I quite like the sound of that.
Let me try to remember their names. His name is Will. I know his name is Will. Mondridge. They were able to go into society because Miss Mondridge or Lady Mondridge had a family member whose condition of giving their wealth was that a nephew, niece, or whatever must have a son. And she was the only one to have any boys. So her family, well, her son in particular, but her family in general, will get the wealth. So they are now barren. They are barren. I think it was interesting seeing them get into that life, seeing how much she wants this and how hard it is for Will to have it. I'm going to speak out of a level of not knowing, of naivete. Couldn't he like get somebody to run it for him and then leave it for like a second son? You know, the person who doesn't necessarily have to run the household. That way, you know, the boy will have something to do. I don't know if that's allowed. That's why I'm saying I'm speaking out of naivete. But yeah, I think, you know, that would be interesting, if you know what I mean. But anyways, they're being pulled into this life, and Will is having a hard time. We'll see what happens in the next season if things get easier for him. Okay.
Dearest gentle readers, have we finally bored Her Majesty the Queen? Or is she lying in wait with something up her ruffled sleeve? Shall we play a game? I show my hand in exchange for yours. Your move, Your Majesty.
Oh, gossip monger. That is your first misstep. To assume I would dare exchange moves.
Let's talk about Queen Charlotte for a second. Her feelings in the beginning were my feelings. I'm just sick and tired of this. I hope it's good, but you know, she was just done, and I'm done. You know, I'm done with the boring stories, with the dumbness, with the stupidity. She was over it. You know, she was like, "Look, my love story was better." I agree, sis. I agree. Okay, but I loved her. As you guys know, one of the best looks she had was her headpiece during the ballet. Did you see the perfect swap? Excellent. Snap, snap. Excellent. Okay, she looks so good. Let's quickly get into the Featherington household without Penelope.
I must feel your lips upon mine. You've never looked more windswept.
Is that a compliment? Wait.
So, Lady Featherington is up to absolutely no good, as usual. Okay, she lying, she's scheming, she plotting, and she's hoping that they can stumble and fall their way into some money. One way is for Penelope to marry into wealth, and the other way is to get her two daughters. One of them needs to have a son so that they can get the full estate of the Featheringtons. It's a forged document, but if they're able to get the baby right and get people to be okay with it just in time, then it won't matter that it's fake, because anybody who could contest it is gone and dead, right? But Miss Barley was right that starting off on lies like this is dangerous. And I feel like what she should have done, right? She should have kept trying to get one of them to marry rich. She should have kept trying. Yeah. Anyway, so Philippa, the slightly more ditzy one, um, just I don't understand why they treat Penelope like this. It's like they almost act like they're bullying her as if they're jealous. Like, what are you jealous of? You got what you wanted, what you thought you needed. Leave your sister alone. Like, they don't even know that she's Lady Whistledown. So please don't come at me like, but she's seeing them. They don't know that it's been her. They have no idea that it's been her. So they just annoy me. Prudence is so annoying. But Philippa is actually really pretty. Like in certain hairstyles, like dang, she gorgeous kind of. She gorgeous. Wow. And Prudence's husband is really good looking, but obviously he's like Narcissus, the Greek god Narcissus. If you know, you know. Anyways, I think it was funny that Lady Featherington said, "At least you're pretty" to Prudence's husband, which I was like, okay, good. I'm not tripping. He does look good. Um, yeah. So just to continue on now, before I talk about what I definitely enjoyed, I want to speak about some of the things that rubbed me the wrong way really quickly. I told y'all that there's going to be a lot of cringe because Penelope does not know how to talk to people. And there was a lot of cringe, and we're just gonna leave it at that. It was annoying seeing her lie or prance around, but she got over that to a certain extent. It's great. The other thing that I didn't really like, the claws of Lady Whistledown in my back, stopping me from enjoying one or two scenes that I could have enjoyed more if I had just forgotten about the impending doom that will be happening in June. What do I mean by that? Yes, I enjoyed it, especially the last episode, especially the last 10 minutes of the last episode. But I know that Colin is going to find out that Penelope is Lady Whistledown. And when he does, I am going to be so fraught with sorrow and embarrassment, I won't even be able to open my eyes. Can't look at the screen when it happens. I can't look. I can't look. One thing I will say is that Eloise is softening towards Penelope. So obviously Colin can soften, right? I did appreciate, just to give Eloise more credit, how she was able to see that Penelope is just as hard on herself and her family as she is on everybody else. She doesn't play favorites. Yes, she will attack people when she feels attacked, right? She'll definitely do that. But if something terrible comes out about her, if she's not able to keep all her ducks in a row, she's gonna call herself out too. It's why I like Penelope. She's not a hypocrite in my personal opinion. She a liar, but she not a hypocrite. But yeah, I mean, I didn't think Colin cared that much about Lady Whistledown. I thought he was like hurt every now and then, wanted to protect his family. I didn't think he took it that personally. I would feel like Anthony would be more the one with the vendetta. But he's just like, oh, when I find out who it is, I'm gonna ruin her, huh? Huh? And to make it worse, him and Penelope have had a few dalliances that are not right by the Todd standards. So if he finds out that she's Lady Whistledown before their nuptials, he can literally just say, I messed around with her a few times and I don't like her. That's it. She's done. She's cast it away. So I'm just worried about that. I know, spoiler alert, you can skip 5 seconds. I know that she will end up with him and they'll be happy, but the turmoil before then, I'm nervous. I'm very nervous, and I feel so bad for Penelope right now, even though I know she's on a high at the moment. I'm like, girl, did you forget that this man does not like your alter ego? Did you forget that? This man does not like her alter ego, and I can't blame him for that. I really can't. I know I said that that she is not a hypocrite, and she's not, but that's because I'm an objective party. I'm in Switzerland. I'm far away, looking at the bigger picture. When you're in it, you can't see it that way. They're not going to look at the depth, the intricacies of what's really going on here. They're just seeing there's this gossip brand that's constantly talking about us. They're not even going to remember how well they spoke of their family and how much in high regard she speaks of their family. They're not going to remember that whenever she talks crap about them. So can't blame them for that. But I am able to see when she does good and bad with her gossip column. And so I keep her in high regard because I see that she knows how to be how to play both sides well, and I appreciate that. My personal opinion is what it is. Um, Lord Nibley. I like him. It's just matter of fact. He doesn't pretend to be anything that he's not. And I appreciate that he doesn't necessarily need to be with a woman who shares his Tarzanian nature. Um, he just wants somebody who's real. And even though Penelope and him are actually quite different, he appreciated that where they are similar is in her thirst and lust for life and her passion. And he wants somebody that if he was to leave them alone for a year, months, they would be fine by themselves. Which is exactly what she said that she needed when she was speaking to the modiste. She said that she wanted somebody who would give her enough alone time for her to still be Lady Wisdom, for her to still have her business. Because Penelope is a boss. Bossy, babe. So I appreciate him for that. I think it's a little bit weird that he was very turned off by realizing that her and Colin had something between them. Let me explain why. I'm not saying that he don't deserve love or that he don't deserve somebody who only wants him for him. That's why I think him and Cressida would be a good match, even though they have even less in common than her and Penelope. They do have something in common though. I'll bring it up shortly. But they have even less in common than him and Penelope too. Only because it doesn't really seem like he's here for love. He's just like, look, I want to be with somebody who can have my babies, who respects me, who respects what I do, and who has enough personality to enjoy being by themselves. Somebody who enjoys being by herself. I gotta tell you, it's not that common. It's not rare, but it's not that common. So many times you'll hear people say, I'm bored. They got a phone, they got a book, they got a TV, they got their own mind, and they're bored. Not everybody can be like some of us who are never bored unless they're forced to do something where they can't be in their own thoughts or they don't have media or physical entertainment. You know, there are people that always need to be around somebody and always need to have a physical being near them to keep them entertained. They're like their own little version of a monarchy. They need to be consistently entertained. You know what I mean? So Devlin is not looking for that. Okay, he's not looking for that at all. He wants somebody who knows how to entertain themselves and that he can be entertained and talking to whenever he's around them. Simple as that. Plain as that. All right? When it comes to him and Cressida, they did have a moment. That moment was him explaining how isolated he felt from his family and how much he wanted to forge a life away from that, and that is how he found his passions. Knowing how difficult Cressida's family is, she related to him when it came to them. That's why I feel like they will be good together. I feel like she'll find out so much about herself in that coupling. So if she ends up getting with him, I have no issues. I hope it works out for her. All right. Because I almost forgot her, which I guess is the point. Francesca.
There is a saying amongst our fair ton, no one attracts notice like a Bridgerton. And now Miss Francesca Bridgerton is set to make a dazzling debut. While her siblings thrive in the spotlight, she seems more content with the quiet, leaving this author to question if she is as ready for the mart as it is for her.
A delight it would be to feel seen by one who looks not for the company of many.
After I saw the Netflix short about Francesca, I thought to myself, right? I thought, ooh, I might like her. She's a little like me. But we're really not that much alike, apart from the fact that we're both introverted and we like very specific things. That's about it. But she is introverted in a way that even if she meets somebody that likes similar things to her, she needs them to speak her language with it, which we do kind of have in common. I have met a few people who claim to like media, um, but they don't like it the way I do, and sometimes that leaves a disconnect. I'm not just gonna leave them or speak ill of them. It's just that it's like the opposite. Like I'm just talking to a guy and it's not going well, so she'll leave them most of the time. Sometimes they'll leave her. For me, sometimes it's like we're talking and I'm not feeling the vibe. Then we just don't really talk much again after that on their side. Sometimes it's back and forth, but it really depends. So when you are like Francesca, it is difficult, and I sympathize with her on that. I can understand where she's coming from. So, but I kind of did like that she was just willing to take what the queen was going to offer. Like, why should she not take the queen's suggestion? You know, like, of course she gonna take the queen's suggestion. Hello, period. But then she got this guy, and I think the representation of Lord. Stop. I don't remember his name, so I'm going to be calling him Lord Quiet or Lord. When she met Lord, I think it was interesting, especially when when he came to see her, when they literally just sat in silence, both smiling, like, "Hmm, just here next to you." It was cute. It was cute. I think my issue is that I don't really care because I want to have more of the focus be on Penelope. I feel like her character is definitely interesting, but to have her as like a side character just because she's quieter, I feel like we need to hear what's going on in her head. Because one of the things that disconnected me from her was the fact that like the men in the beginning, you know, you realize that they weren't in after a while. But when the men were first talking to her, they're just asking like, "What are you interested in?" "Okay, music." She was like, "Yeah, music." And they were trying to get more into it, and she was just like turned off by having to get more into her hobbies or more into her personality. And I'm like, what are these wishes that the men would ask questions like this to her when she came? You know? But of course, they showed those same men to be hateful, gossips, spiders, and manholes. So I guess once again, the writers are portraying some men as terrible, despite the fact that the way you introduced them showed that they had more depth. But you were like, "Oh no, that's not depth." Francesca was right to run away from him. Because, see here, they like Lady Whistledown, and they're disrespectful, and they have to sleep around a lot. Like, okay, I get it. We don't like them. I don't like them. The idea of the men not being the issue and her having to look inward for this particular thing would have been interesting. Because what are her thoughts? She's quiet. Fine. No problem. I do believe that there are introverts that are way more quiet and prefer to like read or knit or play an instrument. That's no problem. But it can't be that she has absolutely no thoughts till she meets Lord the Earl of So she meets the Earl of and she starts to smile more, starts to giggle, starts to become more interested, and also starts to go a little bit more inward. She goes kind of outward as she's worried about whether or not he feels anything for her, and then she goes inward as she realizes that he definitely understands her. And of course, Violet is very happy. Violet Bridgerton is very happy that, you know, her daughter is feeling somebody. And he has a title. How lucky are you to feel somebody that got a title? That is one of the most obvious things about this show as well. There is not so many people out there that you just go feel somebody with a title. Like, that's not whatever. Oh, I didn't talk about Violet much. She's just doting around being a mom. But she's interested in Lady Danbury's mother, which okay. Well, I guess they heard us when we said we wanted to see Violet's story, but we wanted to see like a prequel too. Like we didn't just want to see this lady get her rose bush whacked, whatever. So yeah, I'm just gonna say that I saw it before anybody says anything. I saw it. Let's get into Colin and Penelope then.
The eligible debutantes of the town will surely be looking at Mr. Colin Bridgerton, returned from yet another bout away. But is this third son looking back with intentions to find a wife? And is a more rugged appearance the only souvenir with which he's returning to town?
Well, it has been said an experience is only real if one takes it with them.
Colin comes back. He's looking how he's looking. Everybody wants to yum him up. He actually looks really good this season. I remember thinking, how they gonna make him look good? He's like one of the least attractive Bridgerton brothers. They did it though. He looked really good this season. I enjoyed it. Obviously he went abroad and got some experience. We saw him woohooing with some prostituents, and it's almost like he came home because he felt like there was something missing. And then he soon realized what was missing was Penelope, which I enjoyed. I enjoyed Penelope reaming him out. Like, why should I be happy to see you? You played in my face. And I can't believe after that he didn't realize that she was into him, but he's slow. He's slow when it comes to love. I will say though, one thought I did have that I can't believe I didn't say when I saw the ad. One of the issues with him saying he'd never date her is not just what we know about the feelings in the back end for Pen. Another issue is that dampened her prospects. No matter how good she looked when she popped out this season, I'm sure there were quite a few men who were like, never mind, because Colin said nah. You know what I mean? Like the word of mouth of somebody in very high standing, marriage-wise, money-wise, a Bridgerton saying, I would never touch that. That also halted her getting more options. So I just want to say that. It was way more than her just feeling hurt. He hurt her societally. So I hope he takes into account when he get mad when he find out she's Lady Whistledown. But whatever. I loved their back and forths. I really enjoyed seeing them together. I ship it, actually, which is good. It's good when I ship it. When she asked for a kiss, I screamed. I was like, girl, don't do that. No, don't ask it. But what I'm very glad about is that she only had to be a little desperate one time, and then he became the desperate one. I like that. I really didn't want it to be that she was begging him, and then one day he would wake up, remember her begging, and be like, you know, I really like her. That would have peeved me off. That would have pissed me off royally. So I'm really glad that, you know, she asked for the kiss, and the kiss was the catalyst for him to realize that, hey, she's more than a bestie. She's everything. You know what I mean? So, great. Love that. I was hating, like, when the dream sequence came, I was like, oh my God, really gonna have me here watching Penelope dream about this man. Girl, do better. And then woke up and realized it was him dreaming. I was so happy. I was like, yes. This is what I want. This is what I want, man. I'm very happy about it.
This author dares to venture that Miss Penelope Featherington's third season out is poised to be her most eventful. Will the Ton's perpetual wallflower finally leave behind shadows and obscurity in search of a spotlight of her own? This author cannot think of a more exciting prospect than that.
Quite the scandal when the author becomes the story, is it not?
Pen, brilliant girl, lovely girl. I dislike that she came at Colin only because it just fueled his anger at Lady Whistledown. But I understand why she did it. He didn't come back acting brand new. He did. That's the thing about Lady Whistledown. Like, apart from 1 and 2 times, like, did she lie? Like, when she said that the queen was trying too hard, or that her matches weren't working, or that her matches does work. Like, people only want to, like, give Penelope props when she's being positive about the Bridgerton specifically. But when she's talking crap, she's not always lying. Most of the time she's telling the truth, and y'all get mad. Like, you can't be mad at somebody for doing what all the women in that time are doing, except she's just printing it out and giving it to 20 people on the street. She's doing the same thing y'all are doing, except most of the time she's talking, let me not say most. 80% of the time she's talking facts and it's just printing it out. Anyways, I love Penn's outfits, her wardrobe. She looks so good. I loved her hair. I loved the colors, how they complemented her. She looked so good. She looked so good. Okay. I love how I just love the scene in the carriage. I'm sorry. That scene is replaying in my head over and over and over and over. I loved it. I was just part one, so there's gonna be more, and it's the more that is scaring me. But I wanted to leave Penn and Colin for last because the story is about them. So how did I feel about them? I ship it. I ship it. I liked it. Colin was getting on my nerves, but as he should, he woke up in the end. Said, "Look, I want you. I do. Be mine. Period." Let's hope you keep that. Those thoughts of love and premonition and all that. I want to say that I do appreciate this season. It is now my favorite season. Okay, the rankings. I'll go this: Queen Charlotte, Bridgerton season 3, Bridgerton season 2, and then Bridgerton season 1. That's it. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Just to add in here as an addendum to everything that I'm seeing, I really do hope that you guys enjoy. If you guys have knowledge of the books and you feel like putting it down below, I would be happy to read it. I have never read any of the books, but I've gotten pieces here and there. So if you guys have seen the chapters for Penelope, or the book for Penelope, might I say, please let me know down below. Yeah. Penelope looked so good this season. I was so happy for her. And Colin looked really good this season too. So I'm happy that they are going to try this out. Period. Colin is not wasting any more time. He knows what he wants. And he wants Penelope. And we're happy for her that she comes back. I'm very happy for her because this is a romance novel. It's not always supposed to be the way people think it's supposed to be. The main character is supposed to get what they want, right? So she's getting what she wants, and I am very happy for it. May I make another video about this later on? Perhaps. Maybe before the next part of the season comes out. And Netflix is done. You should have put everything out now, because I'm going to be sitting here worried about what will happen when Colin finds out that she's Lady Whistledown. Yes, I will still be worried about that. Anyways, please let me know your thoughts down below. And thank you so much for watching. And goodbye, my sires. See you soon.